Greetings and salutations, viewers of YouTube. I'm your storytelling pal, Big Al, and welcome back to my channel. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good jazz. Couple of disclaimers before I get started. The stories that I tell on this channel are, at best kind of sort of true. As best I can remember them, and if I need to fudge a fact or two to make it a funnier story, I'm probably going to, but they're kind of rooted in reality. I guess kind of a great description of them would be true-ish. Second disclaimer, I hope that millions of people will watch these videos and every one of them will get like a good belly laugh or two out of them. However, I'm also a realist enough to know that not everyone is going to enjoy these videos. I mean, some people are going to be too hung up on my voice or my storytelling style or just my weight or whatever. And some people just go on YouTube to push political or religious agendas. And so for those of you who are here to do that, if you bother to comment, they're just going to get deleted. You know, this is a channel just to have fun and to give people a break from that kind of stuff. So with all that being said, let's get into today's story. So I've already told the funniest basketball play that I've been part of, the funniest baseball or softball play I've been part of, and the funniest American football play that I've been part of. So today is volleyball. And so, and also, you know, this is all going to be, none of these people's names are going to be their actual names because this took place in a drug treatment facility when I was a teenager, just to put that out there. And I don't normally use last names anyway, but just on the off chance. So, to kind of give you an idea of how this would go, we would play volleyball or basketball 3 times a week in this facility. And oftentimes the people involved in the games really didn't care. In the basketball games, you would have a group that would kind of stand in the center circle and kind of talk to each other while, you know, the ones of us who were kind of more sports inclined would actually play basketball around them. In the volleyball games, there was a lot of watching the ball land, and just kind of just not caring, kind of similar to what you see like in the credit rolls of Dario, where she just kind of watches the ball land and shrug her shoulders. There was a lot of that style of volleyball. And so one of the girls, Jessica, she was always kind of that kind of player that really didn't get too excited about it and just kind of didn't really put a lot of effort into it. She would kind of stand in the right place, and when we rotated, she would stand in the new right place, and that was about as much as she was putting into it. And this guy, Jason, very similar story. Like, Jason really didn't have time for this. He wasn't happy to be there. And so he would just kind of mopily kind of walk his way through the rotations. And that was about as much as we got out of Jason. And also, to kind of make this story funnier, I'm going to have to physically describe Jason and Jessica to you. So Jason had basically the same haircut that Mitch Hedberg had, if you're familiar with the comedian Mitch Hedberg. He was about 6 feet tall, or is about 6 feet tall. At the time, he weighed about 285. Big guy, and got sent to the seclusion room a lot for getting into trouble. You know, kind of one of those types. He had these big Coke bottle glasses also. Jessica, on the other hand, was about 5'1", weighed about maybe 100 pounds. I mean, she was a tiny little thing, and, you know, looked like a little Barbie doll. Now, granted, she'd gotten into some big trouble, and she stayed in places like this until she was 18. But, you know, if you were to just like walk by her on the street, you would have no clue. Anyway, so we were in the middle of like playing one day, and like, we had enough people that cared about it that we actually had some rallies go back and forth across the net. And so the ball had gotten hit across the net, and Jessica suddenly got really excited, and she started yelling, "Mine, mine, mine," like she was going to hit the ball. And she took this big swing. And the thing was, her swing really didn't come within 3 feet of the ball. Like, it was kind of almost like a mystery why she swung her arm at all. And so we were all kind of mystified at, why she did that, because that was so out of character. But then the even bigger thing was, as she was completing her follow through, she managed to basically just clock Jason right in the face, like just hard as could be, just blast right to the face. And it hit right on the lens of his Coke bottle glasses, and they just broke. And so now Jessica kind of covers her mouth and moves back from Jason, and Jason just kind of stands there, and we're all expecting this volcanic eruption of temper from him. I mean, his glasses, one of the lenses is now at like a 45-degree angle to the other, and the earpiece is sticking out at this crazy angle, and blood is dripping down his face from around his eye. I mean, it was it was kind of a sight. And so, instead of this volcanic eruption from temper, Jason just kind of quietly says, "I hate you all." And so that was the entirety of his reaction. And, it was just kind of funny that, it worked out like it did. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed the story. Hope you're having a good one today. Also, podcast shout out of the day. And this one is actually done by a friend of mine in real life, Ed Marlowe. Ed Marlowe has a podcast called For Those Who Inquired that is all things Murray State sports and all things far Western Kentucky sports. Ed is a gifted journalist. He really does a good job of just keeping up with First Region high school sports in the state of Kentucky and Murray State sports. His frequent co-host, Neil Bradley, is the voice of the Racers and has been doing so since 1990. And so between Ed and Neil, you get like a really good breakdown of all things sports in that area of the country. I highly recommend it, even if you're not a Murray State or a First Region high school sports in Kentucky fan. If you just like sports in general, Ed and Neil are great guys to listen to. And if you're from a different fan base of college basketball or college sports in general, if you're interested in what it's like to be fans at a mid-major school, this is a great podcast to listen to. And so with that said, have a good one. I am out.